A constructor is a method that runs whenever an instance of a class is created. In this lesson, you'll learn how to use constructors and add them to your own classes. To begin, open the My Project sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open myclass.cs. We are now going to add a constructor to the class. To do this, add the following method to the class. Public myClass, begin brackets, end brackets, begin curly brackets, end curly brackets. This is a simple constructor. Any code you put inside it will run when an instance of the class is created. In order to be recognized as a constructor, the method must have the same name as the class it belongs to. Notice how the syntax differs from a normal method. There is no void or other return value type specified before the method name. This syntax is peculiar to constructors. Next, add the following code to the constructor. Int property equals 15. This will set the int property to 15 whenever a new instance of the class is created. We are now going to see the constructor in action on the calculator.aspx page. Open the code behind file of calculator.aspx. In Lesson 6.4, you created an instance of the myClass class in the PageLoad event handler. Put a breakpoint at the end of the PageLoad event handler now. You learned how to do this in Lesson 3.3. Now run the page in debug mode. When the code is paused, check the value of the myClassInstance.IntProperty. As you can see, the constructor has set the value of the property to 15. Stop debugging now, but leave the breakpoint in place. We are now going to add arguments to your constructor. Just like any other method, constructors can have arguments. Return to myclass.cs and change the code of the constructor to public myClass int starting number int property equals starting number. This adds an argument to the constructor called starting number and sets the int property to the number provided in the argument. This should look very familiar to you. It's exactly the same as adding arguments to any other method. This was covered in Lesson 6.6. We are now going to instantiate the myClass class with the new argument. Return to the code behind file of calculator.aspx, and you can see that the line creating the instance of the myClass class is now marked as an error. This is because it's trying to create an instance of the myClass class without providing the required argument. To fix this, change the code in the pageLoad event handler to myClass equals new myClass 17. This provides the number 17 as the constructor argument. This means that when the constructor runs, it will set the value of int property to 17. Note that you could provide any int value for this argument. Run the page in debug mode now. The breakpoint should still be in place, so execution should be paused at the end of the pageLoad event handler. Check the value of the myClassInstance.int property, and as you can see, the constructor has set the value of the property to 17. Stop debugging now and remove the breakpoint. You've now completed Lesson 6.11, Create Class Constructors.